Hello everyone, it's Zen here, and today I was drawing one of my favorite things to draw, and that is cats facing left. I decided to draw Longtail from Warrior Cats, and by the way, if my voice sounds absolutely awful, that's because it kind of is. I can't breathe out of my nose right now, and I have been sick for like the past 4 days. So I decided to use my sick day as a slightly productive thing and draw a little. I drew a little bit of my Mystery Dungeon comic, PMD ETU, and I drew this little drawing of Longtail here. I was at first going to give him a slightly more dynamic pose, and then I couldn't figure out the front or the back foot, so I gave up on both of those, but it'll get to that eventually. Longtail is one of my favorite first art cats. I feel like they could have done a lot more with him than they ended up doing. And, with a book series with a cast as big as Warriors and with as many writers as they have, and the fact that this individual book is like, what, 10 or something years old now? I'd have to look up the actual number on that. Um, you know, I can't really complain about a character from books this long ago, but I will, and I can actually, because this is the internet and I'm allowed to complain about anything I want. Just kidding. But yeah, I really like Longtail. I like that he's kind of, the grumpy first antagonistic character towards a protagonist, being Fireheart. I believe he's quite a young warrior in the beginning of the series, and I do wish we would have got more interactions with him early on. I know there was more as he was, siding with Tiger Claw during the first arc. Um, I, I I am personally a Longfire shipper, so that's mostly the reason I would have liked to have more interactions with Longtail, but you know, that's just shipping as it goes. Um, I do like Sandstorm as well, so I'm not like, oh my god, I wish Fireheart would have gotten with Longtail. Yeah, okay. It was never gonna happen, but I think Fireheart is bi, and I think both are acceptable options. Uh, I don't like Fireheart with a lot of cats, but I do like him with Sandstorm, and I do like him with Longtail. I don't really like Greyfire, which I think is an unpopular opinion, but hey. Anyway, back to Longtail himself, aside from my gay cat shipping from when I was. I don't think I actually shipped anything the first time I read these books. I struggled a lot drawing Longtail's tail here, by the way. You'll see it again in the line art when I just couldn't figure out what to do with his tail. Uh, but I read the books first. I think I was in middle school. That tracks for most people. And I tried to read the first book in the second series, which is either called Midnight or Twilight or so. I think it's Midnight because I think it's the same name as the Badger. And I was like, who is Squirrel Flight? Who or Squirrel Paw? Who is this Bramble Claw? I don't know any of these people. So I gave up on it, and then that was around the same time that I started watching, drawing YouTube videos. It started with just like speed drawings on that people did on paper of like Naruto and Pokemon stuff because I was still into Naruto at that point, and which I is also something I dropped and got back into, but maybe that's for another day. And I started watching, the Warrior Cat AMVs and the SSS Warrior Cats, which is why Longtail is yellow. I can't see Longtail as brown or silver, as the wikis put it. I do really like Longtail's minifigure that they released recently. I do hate that he comes with that very ugly cloud tail. I like Cloudtail as well. I think he's interesting, but why did they make him look like that? I don't have any of the Warriors merchandise, but I'm interested in getting a Longtail minifigure and a Fireheart minifigure for reasons that I'm sure you can glean from my earlier conversation. But yeah, I just really like Longtail. He's so iconic to me, and I love that in his minifigure they gave him like Rusty's collar because for one, yeah, that's kind of what he's known for. Also, you can see here that I gave up on that first initial pass of the line art. Um, I do really like that they gave him Rusty's collar. You know, the it's I think that kind of cat that they made him is called a color point question mark. I don't actually know what they're called. I don't know anything about cats. That's just what I've heard from other people talking about it, either on Tumblr or on YouTube. And When I design warrior cats, which I've only done a few, I've done some of my own characters, some of which being OC redesigns from when I was like 14 or so, and most of which just being from like my clan gen characters that I've drawn. Because I'm doing a clan gen challenge, I think they're called. Is it a challenge? I'm just drawing cats. It's fun. Uh, a clan gen challenge over on my Tumblr called Chub Feather, which is my warrior centric blog. Because the way I do Tumblr is I have a main blog for my art, and then I have one for like each specific fandom. But they all get reblogged to Prince Sheepish. But hi Dakota, that certainly was a noise. If you hear weird dog noises, my dog makes some very strange noises sometimes. I'll try to edit them out if possible, but she's just in here. There's nothing I can do about that. Anyway, yeah, I was doing a clan gen challenge, but most of the time when I'm designing warrior cats, I'm not particularly concerned with whether or not they look like an actual cat can. Like, if you've seen my Fireheart slash Firestar, you could probably just see him in my most recent videos if you're watching this as it comes out. He's very orange, and I refuse to change to that. Fireheart is highlighter orange in my brain, and he will never not be. Oh, here's where I struggle with Longtail's tail. I think I spent a solid 5 or 10 minutes trying to get this tail shape. But yeah, Blue Star is blue to me. I know she's blue gray. She's blue. She can be like a dark blue, but she has to be blue. I don't I don't like the idea of her being like a slate gray or anything like that. If you're gonna name a cat blue, you may as well. I know they made like a comment of it. I think it was in Crooked Star's Promise or Blue Star's Prophecy or Yellowfang Secret, maybe all of the three. How they kind of like intertwine as they do. But it's like, Coda, quit doing that. She's being silly. That's my dog's name. I'll try and put a picture of her on screen because I know I'm mentioning an animal and everyone's gonna want to know what that animal looks like. At least I would if I was watching this. But as I was saying, yeah, how they mentioned that Blue Star is blue, more blue in the sun. I'm like, no, you're blue. I'm making you blue. Your kittens are blue. I will eventually draw Blue Star. I tried drawing her recently, actually, but it wasn't turning out quite like how I would like. Blue Star has like this elegant look in my brain, and I just couldn't get it right. Anyway, once again, back to Longtail. Here I was trying to figure out what kind of shade of tan yellow I wanted to do. Because I didn't want to do a pure yellow for Longtail, and I didn't want him to be too sandy of a color, because I didn't want him to look like Sandstorm. But I do think Fireheart just has a thing for blondes. I'm just gonna make that joke. Uh, I don't know what Spotted Leaf, falls on that symbol, but it's okay because Fireheart never had a chance with her anyway. I think I had seen somebody say that shipping Longtail with Fireheart was weird at one point. I forget where I saw it, but I'm pretty sure that Spotted Leaf, which a lot of people do ship Spotted Fire. Spotted Leaf, I'm pretty sure. Now, don't quote me on this because I'm not very good with the Warriors timelines. I'm pretty sure she's older than Longtail, so whatever. But it's what it is. It's Warrior cat shipping. I don't have that high of an opinion on it. I don't have that high of an opinion on any of the fandoms I'm in terms of shipping. Anyway, so on his patterns here, I ended up getting rid of those lighter stripes on his front feet because I felt like they just distracted too much. But I wanted to kind of give him the look of the minifigure. I didn't want to draw the big markings in the face, though. So I just kind of left them how they were. And I did a little bit of blending. Usually when I draw a character with blended stripes, or with stripes, I'll blend those as well. But I kind of just wanted Longtails to be really distinct stripes, so I kind of just left them be. And I just blended around his ears and the markings on his feet. And I wanted him to have really striking light green eyes, but when I do like a light green color, what I like to do is kind of shade it with like a more blue green, so that's kind of what I did here. I really like my overlayered MS Paint eyes. And I kind of use the blur tool to get colors. Like when I use colors that aren't very close on the color wheel, I'll use a blur tool and just color pick in between. So if you ever see me, because I do the pixelated line art, if you see me do like a blur and then I color pick from it, that's what I'm doing, is I'm just trying to get a color that's in between. I also couldn't decide what I wanted to do with his eyes because sometimes I'll draw, like a blocked out eye instead of a slit pupil, even if it's a cat character, just because I think it looks better. And then I was like, no, Longtail's kind of like intimidating, kind of vulgar, kind of mean kind of character. I think he deserves the eye slits. He needs to look a little intimidating. And, he's. I tried to make him a little angular, but not too much because Gray Stripe points out when Fireheart like rips his ear open. He's like, you've spoiled his good looks. And I think that's really funny. I think Gray Stripe is also bisexual, but but I think he's just too into women to realize it. I think he's like a closeted bisexual. That's just a joke. I really don't care. I just like making jokes about warrior cats. Hi, Coda. Why are we shaking? She was just shaking like she was a wet dog. You have not had a bath this week, Miss Ma'am. Anyway, um, yeah. So that's my thoughts on Longtail. I think he's really cool. I think that his minifigure is really cute, and I really like him with Fireheart, and I don't hate that they made him go blind, and what was that, Firestar's Quest? But I do feel like he was really, like, they shoved him in the Elder's Den, and I feel bad for how J-Paw treated him early on, and I wish they would have done more with that. We all know how Warriors is with their disabled characters, though, so, it is what it is. But thank you for watching. Maybe I'll say more about Longtail if I ever do some Longfire shipping art, which I do plan on doing. That's why I designed this Longtail in the first place, actually. But I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a good day.